Picture this, November 24, 1971. A seemingly ordinary business trip turns into an unprecedented saga. A man, later misidentified by the media as D.B. Cooper, boards Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, a short hop from Portland to Seattle. He's unassuming, wearing a dark suit, a neat tie, carrying a briefcase. What began as a routine Thanksgiving Eve flight would soon become one of the most audacious and perplexing unsolved crimes in American history. It's a story that sounds like fiction, yet every detail, every twist, is disturbingly real. And it all hinges on one question: where did he go? Roughly halfway through the flight, Cooper hands a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. She initially dismisses it, thinking it's a pickup attempt. But Cooper's quiet insistence, a whispered "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb," changes everything. The note itself, which was later retrieved by Cooper, reportedly detailed his demands: $200,000 in unmarked $20 bills, for parachutes, 2 main and 2 reserve, and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle. It was a clear, concise plan, laid out by a man who knew exactly what he wanted and, crucially, how to get it. Upon landing in Seattle, the scene was tense. The plane circled for hours while authorities scrambled to meet Cooper's demands. Passengers, oblivious to the drama unfolding, were finally told there would be a delay due to a minor mechanical issue. Once the money and parachutes were on board, Cooper released all 36 passengers and 2 flight attendants. This act of releasing the innocent passengers immediately sets Cooper apart from many other hijackers. He wasn't interested in terrorizing civilians. He had a singular objective, and he was methodically executing it, step by calculated step. With the passengers gone, Cooper instructed the remaining crew, the pilot, co-pilot, flight engineer, and 1 flight attendant, to take off again, setting a course for Mexico City at a low altitude of 10,000 feet and a speed of about 100 knots, with landing gear deployed and flaps at 15 degrees. He insisted on a pressurized cabin but unpressurized rear stairs. Around 8:13 p.m., somewhere over southwestern Washington, Cooper lowered the aft air stairs, made his final preparations, and simply jumped. He vanished into the dark, rainy, cold night, taking his secret with him and leaving behind one of the most compelling riddles in criminal history. The moment Cooper jumped, the biggest manhunt in FBI history was triggered. Ground teams, helicopters, and fixed-wing aircraft scoured the rugged, densely forested terrain of the Pacific Northwest. The FBI deployed hundreds of agents, using every resource imaginable. They even brought in the military. But the conditions were brutal: heavy rain, freezing temperatures, and unforgiving wilderness. Despite the monumental effort, they found nothing. No parachute, no briefcase, no sign of Cooper, and most importantly, no money. It was as if he simply ceased to exist the moment he left the plane, a ghost in the machine. The question of survival immediately became paramount. The jump was risky, even for an experienced skydiver. Cooper jumped into a pitch-black, rainy night, wearing a business suit and loafers, with temperatures likely below freezing at 10,000 feet. The crew reported winds of up to 170 knots. Could anyone survive such a leap? Many experts, including seasoned parachutists, argued against it, citing the sheer brutality of the conditions and the almost guaranteed impact injuries upon landing. But the absence of a body also left open the tantalizing possibility that Cooper had, against all odds, made it out alive. For nearly a decade, the case remained utterly cold. Then, in February 1980, a 9-year-old boy named Brian Ingram, on a family picnic at Tina Bar on the Columbia River, made an astonishing discovery. He unearthed 3 bundles of $20 bills, heavily deteriorated but clearly from the ransom money. The serial numbers matched the FBI's list. This find was monumental. It was the first tangible evidence since Cooper jumped, confirming the money had indeed entered the environment and offering a crucial clue to his potential landing zone, or at least where the money eventually ended up. This was huge. The recovery of the $5,800 sparked renewed interest and a fresh wave of speculation. The money was found downstream from the suspected drop zone, suggesting it had been carried by the Washougal River into the Columbia, potentially months or even years after the jump. This complicated the original search parameters. If Cooper had indeed landed in the water, or the money had been washed away, the search area would have been exponentially larger. This discovery didn't solve the mystery, but it did provide a critical piece of the puzzle, forcing investigators to re-evaluate their entire approach to tracking Cooper's potential fate. Consider this: of the $200,000 ransom, only $5,800 was ever found. That leaves a staggering $194,200 completely unaccounted for. This massive sum, in 1971 dollars, would be worth over $1.4 million today, adjusted for inflation. The fact that the vast majority of the money has never surfaced is one of the most compelling aspects of the case. Did Cooper spend it all without a trace? Is it still hidden somewhere in the wilderness? Or did he perish, leaving the money to be slowly claimed by nature? The unanswered questions surrounding the missing cash only deepen the enigma of his disappearance. The FBI faced unprecedented challenges in this investigation. No body, no suicide note, no real identity, and a crime scene that spanned hundreds of square miles of untamed wilderness. They exhausted every lead, interviewed countless individuals, and chased down every plausible theory. The case remained open for 45 years, becoming a cornerstone of the Bureau's unsolved files. The sheer persistence of the investigation, combined with the lack of a definitive outcome, highlights just how unique and baffling Cooper's feat truly was. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes, even with vast resources, some mysteries simply defy resolution. In 2016, after more than 4 decades, the FBI officially suspended its active investigation into the D.B. Cooper case. They stated that while they would still review credible new leads, the allocation of resources was no longer justified given the absence of new, substantial evidence. This decision brought a bittersweet end to the formal hunt, acknowledging the limitations of even the most sophisticated investigative efforts. It closed a chapter, but certainly not the book, on Cooper's legend, cementing its place as America's only unsolved air piracy case. The digital files, however, remain open. One of the most compelling suspects was Richard McCoy Jr., a former Green Beret and experienced skydiver who executed a remarkably similar hijacking just 5 months after Cooper. McCoy demanded $500,000 for parachutes and jumped from a plane, though he was caught shortly after. The parallels are striking: the method, the demands, the jump. This led many, including some FBI agents, to believe McCoy was Cooper. However, McCoy had a solid alibi for Thanksgiving 1971, and forensic evidence from the plane didn't definitively link him. So, was he a copycat, or did he simply learn from Cooper's success? Let's compare McCoy's actions to Cooper's. McCoy jumped in daylight, was easily tracked, and ended up arrested. Cooper, on the other hand, jumped into a treacherous night and was never found. While their methods were similar, their outcomes couldn't be more different. McCoy's capture proved that skydiving hijackings, even by experienced jumpers, were incredibly difficult to pull off without being caught, especially when the search was organized. This comparison only underscores the sheer audacity and, frankly, the incredible luck or skill of D.B. Cooper's escape, making his disappearance even more perplexing. Another prominent suspect is Robert Rackstraw, a former Army paratrooper with a penchant for criminal activity and a history of faking his own death. Rackstraw's military background and alleged knowledge of the Pacific Northwest terrain made him a compelling figure for some investigators and amateur sleuths. He was known for being resourceful and a bit of a trickster. However, despite intense scrutiny and a documentary linking him to the crime, the FBI never officially named him a prime suspect, and no definitive evidence ever emerged to connect him directly to Flight 305. Still, his name frequently surfaces in discussions. Kenneth Christensen, a former Northwest Orient Airlines employee, was put forward as a possible Cooper by his brother, Lyle. Kenneth had a military background, an apparent fascination with D.B. Cooper, and, crucially, a facial resemblance to the composite sketch. He also bought land and paid for it in cash shortly after the hijacking. His brother claimed he had a suspicious injury after the event and a secret past. While compelling, the FBI officially ruled him out in 2007, citing a lack of physical evidence linking him to the case. Still, the inside man theory holds a certain allure for many. Beyond the facts and the suspects, the D.B. Cooper case continues to captivate the public imagination. It's woven into pop culture, spawning books, documentaries, songs, and even annual conventions. Why this particular case? Perhaps it's the sheer audacity of the crime, the lack of a clear motive beyond money, or the almost mythical quality of a man disappearing into thin air. Cooper represents the ultimate escape artist, a criminal who truly got away with it. This enduring fascination ensures that even with the FBI case closed, the legend of D.B. Cooper will continue to live on, inviting new theories and endless discussion. So, after all this time, what can we definitively say about D.B. Cooper? We know he was intelligent, meticulously planned, and seemingly unfazed by the enormity of his actions. We know he demanded specific, usable parachutes, suggesting he had some expertise. We also know that a small portion of his ransom money was found, confirming the validity of the hijacking. But beyond these facts, the figure of D.B. Cooper remains largely a blank canvas. An enigma wrapped in a mystery, leaving us with more questions than answers about the man who pulled off the perfect sky heist and vanished into history. The case of D.B. Cooper isn't just a crime, it's a testament to the power of the unknown. It's a story that challenges our perceptions of justice, survival, and the human capacity for the extraordinary. Whether he survived or perished, Cooper achieved something no other criminal has. He disappeared completely, becoming a legend in his own time. And as long as there are unanswered questions and a missing $194,200, the story of D.B. Cooper will continue to fascinate, perplex, and perhaps, one day, finally yield its secrets. What do you think happened to D.B. Cooper? Let us know in the comments below.